Lately, I've probably been paying too much attention to Western leftists. It might sound like I've turned into some kind of hardline anti-communist crusader. What's funny is that I'm not fundamentally opposed to a moneyless planned economy, collective ownership, or even certain forms of authoritarianism. I just think that humans, being only slightly upgraded apes, tend to build some version of a hydraulic despotism over and over again. The classic example being ancient Egypt, a system where, in essence, everything belongs to the pharaoh's family, planning is handled by a priestly hierarchy, and the population differs little from slaves. In some ways, it's even worse. In ancient Egypt, people at least had the right to trade their surplus freely, whereas in the USSR, in most cases, they didn't. As the old Soviet joke goes, no matter how you assemble it, you always end up with a machine gun. The only example of authoritarianism that seems to have avoided this path is Singapore. But I have serious doubts that it can be replicated at scale. Singapore is a small country, basically one big city, and it got extremely lucky with Lee Kuan Yew. Sometimes that happens. An authoritarian system ends up with a genuinely talented person at the top. Those are the ones whose names survive for centuries, like Julius Caesar. But there were hundreds of other rulers we don't remember at all, or who are remembered as disasters. So building a system, while seriously counting on a genius to rise to the top and run it well, is just nonsense. What really triggers me about Western leftists isn't that they advocate for communism or fascism. They often don't even understand the difference. But that their ideas are completely detached from reality. It irritates the part of me that once studied systems analysis. Take the old Marxist mantra, seize the means of production. Ask a couple of follow-up questions, and it quickly becomes clear they have no idea what to actually do with those means of production. The thinking is usually at the level of, we'll take it, and everything will magically work out. Marx was writing in a time when skilled workers were something like today's fully self-contained engineers. They could source raw materials, dig them up, grow them, or buy them cheaply, turn them into a functional product, sell that product on the market, and even repair the equipment needed for production. The only thing they lacked was the capital to acquire that equipment, because it was prohibitively expensive at the time. From this, Marx derived the idea that capitalists extract value without contributing anything, simply by owning the equipment. But things have changed. Today, you can crowdfund millions of dollars if you have a good idea, buy equipment, and start production. You can raise venture capital. You can lease equipment. Suppliers will deliver both equipment and raw materials to you on credit. Sometimes they'll practically beg you to take them, if you can actually produce something that sells. For some products, you barely need equipment at all. Software, for example, you can build it with just a laptop. The laptop is already a means of production, and in recent years, AI tools have been handed out almost for free, allowing a single skilled developer to do the work of 10 programmers. So what? How many people today can actually produce something on their own that they can sell? Take something simple, like making shoes. Unless you're a creator capable of producing unique, compelling designs, you won't be able to sell your product, even if you price it below what corporations charge for mass-produced goods. In reality, you won't even be able to undercut them, because a single person is less efficient than an established production line. But even if you could lower the price, you'd quickly discover that nobody wants what you're making. It lacks standout design, brand recognition, and distribution contracts. And that's not even getting into the fact that most modern production is too complex for one person. It requires the ability to organize and coordinate large numbers of people working toward a common goal. And how many modern communists actually have that ability? People pushing these ideas often don't even realize that beyond equipment, you have to pay for materials, energy, facilities, advertising, and logistics. Then there are taxes, and to avoid getting wrecked over those, you need accountants. Equipment breaks down, and needs constant maintenance or replacement. These people genuinely imagine that if something sells for $100 and the worker is paid $5 to make it, the capitalist just pockets the remaining $95 and spends it on yachts and mansions, instead of covering all these costs. What's even more ironic is that nowadays production itself can be the least profitable part of the chain. Google and Apple make money from their app stores, where they produce nothing. Almost everything sold there is made by someone else. Most YouTube content isn't produced by Alphabet, essentially same Google. Online stores often don't even have warehouses. Meanwhile, bloggers promoting products through affiliate programs can earn a larger cut from sales than the manufacturer's profits, and their means of production might be nothing more than a phone and their own face. Or take a very down-to-earth example. This is a real case from a developing country. A woman built a business with hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue by creating a cookie brand. She designed the packaging, found home-based bakers to make cookies using her recipe, arranged sales through retail chains, and contracted people to handle logistics between all these parts. She owns almost nothing except the trademark. The means of production belong to the workers, the ovens in their kitchens, or their personal cars for delivery. Yet, she makes good money without owning any means of production, while they don't. I could go on, but the point is this. These half-baked Western communists don't actually want ownership of the means of production, a free machine that they have to operate themselves, and then figure out how to sell the output from, wouldn't make them happy at all. They have no idea how the modern economy works, or how to make money using those means of production. What they really want is ownership of a successful, already established business where magical elves keep producing and selling goods while they just collect profits and enjoy life. And it's important to understand that if they ever did manage to seize the means of production from capitalists, with this kind of attitude, they'd burn through already existing resources, run the equipment into the ground, sell it off as scrap, and end up with nothing. You can already see this play out in real-world examples like Venezuela and Zimbabwe. That's what actually bothers me, not the ideas of efficient resource use, equality, or mutual support in themselves. Thank you for listening. If you think this was interesting, hit like and subscribe.